Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. It's Cynicalex, and today we're testing out Vision before he gets his presumed tier 3 and new uniform. So it's pretty exciting to see how this character stacks up given my roster and given my build, and then see how much his uniform and tier 3, presuming he gets both, which is what we saw from the sneak peek, how much that's going to affect him in a positive way. Now, he has some really gorgeous skill animations now, and we actually see Wanda in his tier 3, or in his 5th skill now, excuse me, not his tier 3. But we're sort of hoping for a little bit more here. He does have Accumulation, which we know is a really good skill for World Boss Legend. The only issue is he doesn't have Healing. That's really the one ability that he's missing. And I think you have to stay inside the circle. The circle moves with you. I don't really know. Some of his skills are confusing because he has 1 second buffs, like this recurring 1 second immunity buff. It kind of gives me anxiety. I'll be honest with you, I haven't played with Vision in a long time, so seeing 1 second left on any of my skills, you get to feeling like it's gonna run out, and it doesn't run out. And so yeah, we're doing actually not bad for stage 99 with an obelisk. But the trick is to proc on, there we go, 4 cancel 5. That's where the big damage comes from. But yeah, he's got the accumulation on his 3rd skill, which is really nice. It's damage taken, so you do have to be very careful because he doesn't have a heal. So that's really the weakness of this character. Without a heal, you're in a situation where you want to get hit, but you don't want to get hit too badly, and you certainly don't want to get hit when you don't have any invincibility or immunity up. You also don't want to get hit by purple skills, like this. He's also a little bit slow on his feet, to be honest. But yeah, if you get hit and you accumulate, but then you die, it doesn't really matter how much you accumulate. So we're not going to go all the way with this. I actually really like his skills right now. I think they're quite gorgeous. But I also can't wait to see what the devs do, because the skills lately have been so amazing. Oh, you know what? Oh, he survived, actually. Impressive. Wow, she's being a not nice lady. Yeah, the Scarlet Witch coming in on his skill is just really, really cool. We want the accumulation here, and then we're going to pop the 5. So sure. The one thing that he doesn't have, if you haven't noticed, is all defense down. That's the one thing that Vision is actually missing from his kit, along with a heal. So really, the best way that they can improve his kit right now is slapping on a heal on one of his skills or a passive, and then also giving him all defense down for regular World Boss Ultimate type stuff. The accumulation is really good for World Boss Legend and other content, but we know the all defense down is actually quite helpful, especially when you don't have any pierce on your cards. But now let's try this again, but this time we are going to apply the all defense down. So we're just gonna pop over White Foxes, and then we're gonna go ahead and pop 4 into 5. And you can see that the damage now is pretty dang good just because of that all defense down. Now we're only able to apply it for 1 rotation, but we can actually go ahead and set him up and accumulate again right after applying all defense down. So we're going to swap here. It's going to be 10 seconds actually. But yeah, so all defense down and heal are the really big missing skills for him, or missing stats, skill buffs, whatever you want to call it, debuffs. Let's do this. Let's do this. So just get hit. And then let's pop the 5. So this is accumulation plus all defense down. Not bad. Accumulation plus all defense down plus the proc on 5, which is his highest damage skill. His 5th skill also has a frenzy buff, but as you can see, it can be a little bit inconsistent with not getting enough hits in. Let's see here if we get it. Kind of, but it's really not that good. But his skills are really gorgeous now. I don't even do his 1 and 2, but he really does feel like Vision. I feel like they've already nailed that for the character. So I can't wait to see how much better they make him. He's not really good enough now, I would say. You know, I don't think he can compete at tier 2 as a blast type with recent tier 2s. Like, he's nowhere near as good as Cersei or other regular. I mean, even Human Torch with his uniform is gonna outclass Vision before the Transcendence. So yeah, he's got a ways to go. We talked about it briefly in another video, but just to recap, it's really for Vision, it's not his skills. It's actually his leadership and his passive. His leaderships and his passive, or his passives and his leadership, are just bad. They're really bad. They're from a long time ago. They're just so bad. That's a 100-second cooldown. Or sorry, that's 60 seconds. That's a 1 minute cooldown. That's a 60-second cooldown. It's gonna feel like 100 seconds because that thing is never gonna activate again. You know, it's just not. So yeah. But he does have good buffs on his skills. He's got a really nice accumulation buff. It could be better, but it could be worse. It's got all defense down. It just doesn't ignore immunity. And then he's got a frenzy buff here, but it only lasts for 1 second. I'm pretty sure it's more than 1 second and it refreshes, but it's just confusing to the players when it says 1 second. You get antsy. Same thing with this one. It says 100% chance for immunity for 1 second, but I feel like it's more like 4 or 5 seconds. They really need to stop doing that, or they need to say 1 second refreshes 5 times or whatever. Like they should be more clear, because otherwise you really just have to play the character, or at least go into skill preview or go into a fight and then just press the button and count, and just sit there counting the number of seconds that it ticks off for. Kind of annoying that you have to do all that legwork for something that they can just easily list on the skill. But yeah, for him, for Vision, I really do think it's about his passives rather than his active skills. But I wanted to go ahead and build up his gears now anyways, because we're going to have to get them to 25, because I'm going to be tier 3 in this boy as soon as he comes out, or this robot. But we'll see. I do think Vision should have a heal, because he can repair himself, so to speak, kind of. I mean, he's not like Ultron level of survivability in terms of, you know, constantly reforging his body and things like that. But the intangibility, you know, maybe he should get invisibility, right? Like Invisible Woman, because he can, yeah, the 31 makes me want intangible myself right now. But I do have a lot of mats, so I can't really complain. Some of you guys are probably like laughing it up, but then you look at my mats and you're like, yeah, he can actually afford these 31 hits. Yeah, it is what it is. I went crazy on the secret store, but 15 on a 23. Wow, 3 and then single digits. 25. Okay, that's not single digits. Anyways, I don't know. Yeah, but intangibility for me, for Vision, seems like it'd be something. Oh, it says self repair right there. Yeah, why he doesn't have a heal, but he has a self repair system makes no sense. So I think this dude should definitely have. I mean, if you're interpreting his powers from the comics and the movies, he should be very OP. Right, he should have invisibility in MFF. He might have iframe ignore because of the intangibility. He should have a heal, and so on and so forth. But yeah, I'm also excited to see whether they make him a villain or not, because White Vision in WandaVision was evil. He was, you know, ship of Theseus, sure, but he was evil to begin with. And then in the comics, White Vision is basically Vision without any emotions. So he has no attachment to Wanda. He doesn't remember his friends in the Avengers and things like that. And he more often than not ends up or tends to be more cold and sort of villain-esque. Not necessarily like a full-blown, I'm going to take over the world villain, but sort of like a callous, I don't really care what happens to people type of villain, or type of like morally gray hero. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do for him. We do need more villains, I guess. I don't know at this point. We may have reached a level of satisfaction for villains. I actually haven't asked that question in a while, but just to keep in mind for the runs I was doing there with Proxima, he has a crit damage 200 procs. It's a pretty good obelisk, but it was an obelisk. It wasn't a CTP, so it should be good. It should be good to see how he plays with his new uniform and his new rework with an obelisk. The other thing I want to point out, which is very, very unique to Vision and probably confused some of you when you started watching, he deals physical damage. This is one of the things that I've loved about Vision for the longest time, is he's one of the very few characters like Danny Rand, Iron Fist, who's a combat type that has energy attack and energy damage. Vision flips the script, right? You think combat types in MFF and you think, okay, physical damage, right? That's what you think when you think of combat types in Marvel Future Fight. I'm trying to flip over to a combat type and I'm having a hard time. But with Vision, he's a blast type with energy attack. You're like, okay, cool. He's fitting the script. He's going to deal energy damage. No. He deals physical damage with all of his attacks. So I really like that. I don't know how accurate it is, considering he's shooting like beams of energy, beams of physical energy, I guess. I don't know, like Cyclops, his eyes are technically concussive lasers from the laser dimension. I don't know. It's very, very weird if you look up Cyclops' origins of his powers. But anyways, yeah, this is something I've always loved about Vision, and that's why, although you give him energy attack Uru, right, for his build, you give him energy attack Uru because he's an energy attacker, he doesn't actually deal energy damage. So you wouldn't use him on a physical reflect stage. You could use him on an energy reflect stage in Shadowland, and by the same token, you would be better off using him against Proxima than Cull Obsidian, because Cull Obsidian has very, very high physical defense. That's also why he basically can't do Ebony. He doesn't have any elemental damage, but he also doesn't have any energy damage. Same thing for Wanda, Scarlet Witch. She has very, very high energy defense. So Vision's actually good because he does physical damage against her. So it's actually quite interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see how he plays against Null and Mephisto, and it'll be cool to see how he matches up, how he squares up to a lot of people are going to be immediately comparing him to Human Torch. Can't really compare him, even though he is tier 3, to Mephisto, because Mephisto's native tier 3. So I don't know. I don't want to say anything bad. Vision's got big shoes to fill. That's all I got to say. You know, Wanda is a very popular tier 3, and she's going to be getting a brand new uniform, so we're expecting her power level to really jump up and match the cost of 1600 CCF tier 3s like Odin and Silver Surfer, because she's a 1600 CCF tier 3, right? Like that's the cost. That should be, she should be around their level, which is really exciting. For Vision, he's an 800 CCF tier 3. You don't want him to just fade into obscurity, right? You don't want him to be Iron Man before the superior Iron Man uniform. So I think a good barometer, or I think a good comparison for him would at least be as good or better than superior Iron Man. I think that's a fair place to put Vision, to put this new Vision, but he could be better considering he has the accumulation, which is huge, whereas Tony only has it on his tier 3. So yeah, that's some content. That's a little bit of a litmus test, so to speak, a little temperature check on where Vision is. Pretty good. Could probably do stage 99 with double support, to be honest, although it's a pretty tough fight. No healing, little bit of targeting issues where Proxima jumps back, but I think he can do it. But he's not really eligible for much other content right now. That's why I didn't really take him anywhere else. So we'll have to see when he gets his tier 3 really how much damage he can do, and really how he can slam it down and put it down. So hit me up in the comments down below. Let me know what you think of Vision and what his rework is going to hold for him. And you know what? Uncanny Avengers, that was Rogue. That was the same update. I believe Rogue got her Uncanny uniform. Rogue's new uniform was amazing. So if just hypothetically, if you follow that sort of nonsensical conspiracy theory logic, Vision's uniform is gonna be lit. So anyways, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.